So we start this hour with the latest on the breaking news from Maine, where as of right now, at least 16 people have been killed, dozens injured in this two mass shootings. So here's where this unfolded last night. It's Lewiston, Maine, a large city in the state of Maine. It's about 45 minutes north of Portland.
The suspect opened fire on two separate locations in the city, a bowling alley as well as a bar. His reason for choosing those locations still unknown, but he remains at large this morning, and we're seeing lockdowns at schools. Grocery stores are opening later to try to just control the situation right now as well. Yeah, obviously an active situation as they continue to search for this person. Schools in and around Lewiston not in session today. Classes canceled for obvious reasons. Erica Ritchie joining us now with the latest developments.
Yeah, guys, and officials in Lewiston announcing just a few moments ago that shelter in place still remains in effect. And that's because they're still looking for 40-year-old Robert Card of Bowdoin, Maine, who's accused of causing the carnage last night. We're still waiting to learn more about the victims, but we did just learn that no students, faculty, or staff from Bates College, which is in the town of Lewiston, were killed in the incident. Now, Lewiston, as you mentioned, Pat, is the second largest town in Maine. Last night, this scene played out there. It became the scene of a mass casualty, mass shooter event. That's what the Central Maine Medical Center said it was reacting to after the shootings played out around 7 o'clock last night. Police swarming a restaurant and then a bowling alley about 4 miles away after a man opened fire on both of those locations. Maine's Public Safety Commissioner stopping short of giving exact numbers of casualties or injuries because it was such a fluid investigation. But according to the Associated Press, at least 16 people have been confirmed dead this morning.
We have literally hundreds of police officers working around the state of Maine to investigate this case, to locate Mr. Card, who again is a person of interest and a person of interest only. And we'll continue to gather information so that we can bring the suspect to justice and ultimately seek prosecution down the road.
And we heard that about 11:30 last night. That was the last time we have heard from any officials from the state of Maine regarding this incident. Their focus, their goal has been on tracking down Robert Card. We do expect to hear from them again at 10:30 this morning. So we'll get more information hopefully at that time. In the meantime, I can tell you guys, as you mentioned, all schools are closed in several Maine towns this morning, including Portland, nearly an hour away. That's how big this area is that they're searching. Of course, the story continuing to develop throughout the morning. I'll have another live update for you 30 minutes from now. For now, live in studio, Erica Ritchie, 12 News.
All right, now to this breaking news out of Maine, where at least 16 people have died following a pair of mass shootings. The White House saying President Joe Biden was briefed on the situation. He's been in contact with Maine's governor and other elected leaders offering federal assistance.
Erica Ritchie tracking this breaking news all morning long, and we're more than 12 hours now into this massive manhunt for a person of interest.
Yeah, Pat, that's how law enforcement officials have identified Robert Card as a person of interest. He's been on the run since allegedly causing this scene to unfold in Lewiston, Maine, opening fire in a restaurant and bowling alley around 7 o'clock last night. People looking for family members who might have been involved in the rampage being directed to a reunification center set up at a middle school in nearby Auburn, Maine. Here's that town's mayor now.
When I was bringing people in that were looking for their loved ones, there's fear, there's panic, of course there's worry, understandable. But the people that were actually there tonight was what I didn't hear. It's shock. It's shock. It's hard for me to explain.
All right, so officials in Maine still not giving exact numbers of victims or the extent of the injuries, but the Associated Press is saying 16 have died. This, as much of the area in Maine remains locked down this morning. Schools are closed along with some colleges and government offices as a result of that shelter in place that still remains at this hour. Meantime, we are learning more about 40-year-old Robert Card. According to a police bulletin, Card was a firearms instructor believed to be in the Army Reserve. That bulletin said that Card had reported hearing voices and threats to shoot up the military base, but it did not provide any details about his treatment or condition. So while investigators continue to sort through Robert Card's background and search for his whereabouts, survivors of the shooting are beginning to process what they lived through and what they experienced, and it really is a very difficult reality to face.
Just normal night of bowling, and out of nowhere he just came in and there was a loud pop. Thought it was a balloon. I had my back turned to the door, and as soon as I turned and saw it was not a balloon, he was holding a weapon, I just booked it down the lane, and I slid basically into where the pins are and climbed up in the machine and was on top of the machines for about 10 minutes until the cops got there.
Such a scary moment for that man and for so many others, and still so many unanswered questions. Why those locations? Are children among the victims? How many victims exactly? We hope to learn more, guys, at a news conference scheduled for 10:30 this morning in Maine. Right now, I can tell you that according to Bates College, which is in Lewiston, Maine, none of their students, faculty, or staff are among the victims. Again, we'll be taking that press conference live at 10:30 over on WPRI 12, and then we'll have another update for you on 12 News at noon. For now, live in studio, Erica Ritchie, 12 News.